Hey, welcome back to CU Live. I'm your host, Lauren Sega with Columbus Underground, and I have here two of CU's best, Susan Post, our social media specialist, and also the editor for the Metropreneur, the go-to website for local business and co-working news. And then I have Brent Warren here, our lead development writer. How you guys doing?
Great.
Pretty good.
Awesome. So yeah, we've seen some pretty huge developments this year. It's been a huge year for a bunch of different neighborhoods around Columbus, Short North, Franklinton, downtown, elsewhere. We've seen 7-Eleven North High, 875 North High, the Jackson, bunch of towers coming up, North Market, Millennial.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think is some of the biggest developments that we've seen?
Yep, those are some big ones. I think just recently we've gotten a couple of our bigger announcements of the whole year with the Crew development, the Crew Stadium, which is, I thought one of the biggest pieces of news to come out of that announcement was that it's not just a stadium, it's a whole development they're building around it, and pretty significant development, like 800 units of residential. So that's bigger than any proposal we've seen recently downtown, just from a purely residential perspective. So that was a big one, and the Cover My Meds announcement of a new office, which is actually not very far away from that new crew development.
Mm-hmm.
That's big too. That's like a $200 million project. So that just happened in those two in the last couple of weeks. So
Cranes everywhere.
yes.
What do you think are some of the biggest trends among all of these developments?
Well, I've been going through all of the different stories basically that we've written in the last year and trying to organize them because we do our year in review articles. So, we've seen like a lot of the neighborhoods that have been in the news a lot have continued to be in the news. So the Short North, it's pretty obvious when you're driving down the Short North, you see all of the work that's going on there. But we didn't see that many new actual announcements for new projects in the Short North. We did continue to see downtown a lot of new announcements. Franklinton, some big ones. I didn't mention the Gravity project earlier. Gravity 2 project also. So we're still seeing a lot of activity downtown and the surrounding neighborhoods. I think we may see more. We saw this last year, we saw more announcements on the south side and the Near East side.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we'll see more there definitely going forward.
Do you see any commonalities in what these bigger developments are looking for in terms of tenants?
You mean in terms of what kind of market they're going for, or the use?
More so use.
Oh yeah.
What they look like, what they're looking for.
Yeah, they're all almost all mixed use. Nobody's going away from that trend, I don't think. And we were talking a little bit earlier about how office is now included in lots of projects, whereas it didn't used to be. And we're seeing not just regular office filling those projects when they're actually built, but things like co-working.
For sure, especially in the Short North. There hasn't been as many projects announced, but there's been a lot of tenant announcements, and a lot of those tenants are kind of your higher end co-working spaces. You have Spaces coming to 7-Eleven North High. Industrious is opening a second location in 875 North High where Grandview Mercantile was. That'll be their second location in Short North. They were kind of one of the first in the neighborhood in the Joseph Building in 2015. You have Serendipity Labs that just opened in the Beauty Ave development. So you're really kind of seeing these higher end co-working spaces that are really filling in the neighborhood.
So yeah, go back to your point about mixed use, how we keep seeing those. We see, a top floor of residences, a top commercial office space or co-working space, a top first floor retail, and that's typically a local business.
Yeah.
We don't see chains coming as much. Why do you think that is?
A lot of the local businesses that are moving into these buildings, it's a second location or they're moving from one spot to another. Just kind of looking down the list, as Brent mentioned, Cover My Meds is going to have their own campus. You have smaller businesses like Tenfold going into Hubbard Park Place. Root Insurance moved into 80 on the Commons. Gravity, you've got all kinds of local businesses there. You've got Kova, another Coworking's second location. You've got Roosevelt Coffee House, their second location. Bark, and then Pelotonia. Those are a couple of businesses that are moving. Castle Development, Penzone moved their Short North location there. Vamp moved into there. You also have things like the Reach on Goodale, which will see 2 caterers take over the Fives. So a lot of local businesses are occupying a lot of square footage.
Making moves.
These new developments.
Yeah, I will be curious to see if they can keep that up. I mean, definitely a lot of those are kind of on the co-working office side of things, or existing businesses that are scaling up that started locally. But there's also going to be, like, just downtown, a lot of retail space coming onto the market in the next year, and I don't think anyone knows if that is if it's gonna get filled, or if it's going to be if they're going to be able to fill it with local retailers, or if they're going to be going for a more national kind of based tenants.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll be interesting to see, like, in the next year how that plays out.
Do you think there's an appeal to bring in, I mean, clearly there's an appeal because people prefer to shop local, but do you think there's a risk maybe of bringing in local businesses that are brand new rather than ones that are opening a second location or just moving?
I don't know if it's a risk as much as a barrier. Like, if you're a brand new business, you probably can't afford rent on the ground floor of a brand new building in Short North. So, I mean, I think that's why we're seeing some more of the established businesses, occupy these newer spaces. But, you gotta think about the backfill. That'll open up other locations for, perhaps newer local businesses.
I have heard some developers, not that many, but some developers talk about the importance of having something on that ground floor that is almost like another amenity for their building. So it's like, we want to have something interesting and local, even if it's not, we could maybe get more per square footage if we, rent it out to a major chain, but there's some interest in saying, well, okay, it's more important that we get something in there that fits kind of the demographic that we're going for and can be kind of touted as an amenity for the building. So.
Mm-hmm. Is there a trend among first floor retail, like what kind of business we see going in there? Is it?
Well, it seems like restaurants are like the go-to and probably the easiest thing at this point.
A couple breweries, right?
Yeah, right.
We've got a lot of Cameron Mitchell restaurants that are going into several of the Short North developments that were announced over the last year.
East Public's got North Parsons and
Commune.
Yeah, that's a cool project, and that's all local, right? I mean,
Yeah,
everything.
all local.
Yeah.
Compton Construction
There's-
is over there.
yeah, and Zaftig heading to
Italian
that Beaker building. That's awesome, yeah.
Right.
So clearly tons of growth.
Yes.
We have a consensus on that. Do we have a winner as far as the neighborhood that's seen the most growth this year?
I mean, I would say Short North. Just, purely you're driving through there, you can't not see barriers and cranes and crazy
Yeah, no,
traffic
it's so
speed back up.
obvious. Yeah, and some of the streetscape stuff has been finished,
Yeah.
so that makes a big difference.
It's nice to
but-
be able to see it and be like, oh,
yeah.
this
No,
is
the
nice.
street is
This
looking
is
nice.
great.
Yeah, they have trees planted. And,
Yeah.
But it's funny, when I was going through and making these lists of like projects that are under construction, I mean, downtown has a lot. I mean, downtown is so big, so I think some people don't realize always how many different projects are ongoing. But there's still a lot, like right now, being built downtown, and that's going to continue through the year. I mean, it's more than is being built in the Short North. It's just more spread out.
Mm-hmm. Are there any neighborhoods to look out for next year?
Yeah, I mean, like I think I mentioned the South Side. We have that project on Parsons, and some other stuff on Parsons that has been proposed, and just kind of the Brewery District. There's a bunch of things coming up for that.
Say Franklinton with both gravity developments.
Yeah, Franklinton is going to look, I mean, it already
different.
looks very different. It's amazing. You can see that gravity development, like from downtown. I don't think people realize how close it is. You can see it from the corner of Broad and High.
Cover My Meds will be a part of that when they start building also.
Yeah.
I think we should certainly keep our eye on the North 4th Street corridor too.
Oh, yeah.
The Bud Dairy building going.
That's
I'm pretty
like
excited
filling
for that.
in completely. Yeah, absolutely. That one, and like I mentioned, the Near East Side. I mean, we didn't talk about Long Street. There's maybe some significant projects going in there, and then just there's stuff scattered all around. That's another really big neighborhood, big area made up of different neighborhoods, but there's a lot of different projects on the boards
Awesome.
on the east side. Yep.
Yeah, some stuff to look out for next year.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's our year-end roundout for development here and co-working here at Columbus Underground. Thanks for joining us. See you live.